strong, sing it loud, sing it proud. It's your national anthem.
Can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was to oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the and the home of the
Millions caught in combat with the enemy of liberty. But where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty.
and thus be it ever, when free men shall stand between their loved homes and the war's desolation, blessed with victory and peace, may the heavens rescued land praise the power that hath made and preserved us a nation. Then conquer we must, for our cause is
us, America. Sing it loud, sing it proud. It's your national anthem.
We are having an event June 24th at Hyannis Green. Welcome to come out between 1 and 5. Sing it America strong. We're going to have the national anthem. We're going to have patriotic music. It's just wonderful to celebrate our country. And we want you to come, all ages. We're going to have art contests, essay contests, picnic contests. You bring your picnic basket, bring your picnic blanket and chairs. We will welcome you. You will be part of the parade if you like. You can sing with us. Enjoy the day. There's going to be fun-filled activities all through the day for all ages. Welcome. I hope to see you there.
Hello. Welcome to Sing It America Cape Cod chapter. We have some special guests today, and we're celebrating our nation. America strong is what we need to see happen in this nation again. I was just speaking to someone who grew up at the end of World War II. He was 8 years old when the war ended. And that man was talking to me about what it was like to be in the time of uncertainty such as we're seeing today. There was a sensing of a brewing of uneasiness in the nations right before World War II, right before World War I. There's a lot happening when we hear nightly on the news that cities are being targeted by terrorist attacks. We've even seen some of those things here in America, 9/11 and recent incidents. And I asked this man, I said, what was it like to grow up in World War II, the end of the Great Depression? He said, well, there was a sense of uneasiness, but there was unity. All the citizens were hanging together tight. There was a sense of unity about God and country. And he said, I'll never forget when the war ended, how the American Red Cross and the Veterans Association and others put on a great march down through the streets of Worcester and other cities in Massachusetts. And he said they threw out candy to the children, and they gave out balloons, and all the children were impressed with how great America was, and that America, through our unified stand, had been strong enough to have victory. So we're going to be celebrating America Strong. We've invited veterans. If you're a veteran or you're part of a veterans organization, if you'd like to present your colors, we have different opportunities to do that that day. We'll be gathering at noon to organize a parade that'll go right from the sidewalk down to the bandstand. And there's a little cobblestone walkway that goes all the way through the green. And we're also going to judge contests. The David B. Manuel Literary Award is going to give out a contest prize for the best historical essay about the national anthem. We're also going to have contests about costumes of historical characters, any children's groups that sing, any bands that play. You can enter the singing contest, and we're going to have you sing patriotic songs, and then we'll have judges that'll decide who's the best. We also have contests on art, any art about historical characters in Massachusetts, Cape Cod, or American history, particularly about the national anthem, anything about the wars that we have fought and won. So you can put anything into that you want. We also are going to have fun. We're going to have gunny sack races, and we're going to have spoon races where you got to balance an egg on a spoon as you go running across the green. And then we're going to have lots of music, and we're going to have some special inspirational speakers and military chaplains. We're inviting the civic leaders that you've elected here on Cape Cod and other places to join us as well. And we're hoping that everybody will show up. And one of the most fun things we're going to do is we're inviting people to bring that gingham blanket or whatever you want, and your picnic basket and your picnic setup. And then there's going to be somebody going around to see what's the most apple pie, hometown America, picture-perfect picnic setup. That's going to be fun. So it's going to be a great day. And the actual festivities on the platform will start from 1 o'clock to 5 o'clock. You can even decorate your boat down in the harbor. We've got a boat decorating contest. Well, how do you sign up for all this? At www.singitamericacap.org. TV99.com. Sing it loud, sing it strong. It's your national anthem. Sing it, America. Well, I'm going to play this song as we introduce our guests because we're in a time and a season right now where America needs to remember that it was the hand of divine providence delivering us and the courage of great, strong men and ordinary citizens who band together to save our nation from everything that attacked its unity. Well, I want our guests to join us and sing that, and our studio audience, and you can sing it with us too. It's good to have you here today.
Thank you.
Sharon Kelly from Banner of Love and Pastor LeJean, and you're from Haiti.
Thank you.
And they're chaplains of Sing in America. We've also got military chaplains that you'll meet when you come to the event. When you got involved with Sing in America, what did you have a heart for to see happen here on Cape Cod?
Well, Cape Cod and over the bridge as well, where I come from, but you hear so much in the news now about what is going on in the world and the terrorism and all, and people tend to look at that and become fearful. And you know, rightly so. We hear about threats coming to our land. What you spoke of and what is missing, or we don't tend to see, we don't come together. We don't know our neighbors. We don't know our people in our towns anymore. We don't have that unity or walk in that unity like we should to keep America strong. It's not all about the president doing it. We need to, you know, love one another, care about one another, be true to one another, and we're all brothers and sisters in this country. God, you know, he said, send me your broken and your, you know, all the people from all the nations are here. They come because they came. We're born here, we forget.
Yeah.
They came because they wanted freedom, because they wanted what we have, and we take it for granted so often. And you know, I come from a time too where it was more unified. The fireworks were not just fireworks; they were a celebration of the freedom of this country.
Yes.
So you come together and you sing it America and learn the patriotic songs, as I know from talking with you that a lot of people don't know them. I didn't know the last verse. I didn't even know it wasn't there.
Mm-hmm. That's what I sang, the last verse.
But I love the patriotic songs. I would love to be in Boston when they have the 4th of July and experience all of that. But that is something we can experience every day.
Yes.
And this gives us a chance. It's not the 4th of July, it's the 24th of June, but we come together and we'll have our own Independence Day, our own celebration, our own recognition of who we are as people of America, who we really are, you know, and get to know you and get to know everyone else that is of the same heart. Yeah. You know, the spirit of God, of America is not dead. We just need to call it out.
That's right. And so what we're going to do, what Sing in America is going to do, is celebrate people Celebrate the citizens of this nation,
Yes.
celebrate God and country. And as we celebrate that in each other, we make America strong.
Absolutely.
And we want our children to learn this national anthem. We want our children to learn all the patriotic songs. And when we started working with the bicentennial of the national anthem in 2014, the children, we found out, as we took television cameras to work with a former Nightline producer from the National Press Club, we went out to Baltimore Harbor during a big celebration. I think it was Memorial Day, or maybe it was Flag Day. And we went out there with television cameras, and we interviewed children, and we found out that the children, it didn't matter what age group they were in, they could not sing the national anthem. They didn't, most of them know even 2 lines of it. They never got to the high note that some people complain about, but you know, that thing about the high note is silly because Francis Scott Key put the words that he penned of the Star Spangled Banner to the tune of an old drinking pub song. So if the drunks could sing it, we can sing it. And but the kids didn't even get that far. There wasn't even one stage mom in the group to shove her child to the front of the camera with the crew there to say, my child can sing it. Not one. And the only people we found that day that knew how to sing it were 2 ladies in costume that had been celebrating anyway. And then there was an admiral from Brazil, a foreign country, who was able to sing it on his ship that was parked in the harbor.
I actually saw people being interviewed on the street, and the adults don't know it either.
They absolutely don't. And they don't know what it means either.
Well, that's the important part.
Yeah.
It's not just a song.
And there was a big battle. There was a big battle going on in the Baltimore Harbor. Washington had burned. They could see the flames on the horizon 30 miles away of Washington on fire. And there was just a sensing that the nation was going down. I mean, who would have ever imagined we'd be good friends with the British? Maybe we'll be good friends with the Russians someday. If you'd have asked somebody in 1776 or 1812, did they think we'd ever be friends with the British? And while they were burying their dead, they'd have probably taken that shovel and knocked you in the head and buried you with them, you know.
True.
But when we become strong in our unity together, and we teach our children these principles and values for the next generation, then we ensure that there will be a next generation of liberty and freedom in America. So we've got to do a lot of work here.
I'm just thinking as you're saying that, you know, the president is looking to increase our defenses. There was a time when men would sign up because they loved their country.
Yeah.
I pray that there will be that again, because there's not many who will go and sign up. You know, does it come to war again sometime in our future? Where are the Americans? Where are those who are willing to stand and fight for the freedom that they so freely take advantage of every day? You know, my husband did that. You know,
Yes, your husband was a decorated
he was in the Green Berets, and
Green Beret. That's right.
but you know, I've read some of the commendations and things that things he went through. But I'm really honored. You know, when I read them, it was amazing to me, and I didn't know anything about military really, or military families before that, and I'm sure I'm still naive about a lot that people go through. But we need to be unified as America, as the people, America. Our unification it becomes the foundation again, you know, and it's been cracking. And to have the people rise up and know who they are, why they're here, what those songs represent, they don't know who they are.
They don't.
And it's time to find out.
Yeah. Edmund Burke, one of the elder ancient founding fathers of this nation, said that within a generation, if children didn't learn to revere their nation and their God, if the education of who we were and the bloody battle we came from disappeared, that it would not be continued. And then Ronald Reagan said it could be lost within one generation. This book I wrote goes along with the painting behind me that I painted in 1987. And there is a vision in here of George Washington. You've seen the famous picture of him praying in the snow.
Yes.
And he claimed that he actually encountered an angel. And in here, his vision states that America is going to go through 3 battles, that would test our unity, 100 years apart or there more or less. And of course, the first one, we won. The second one, our nation came back together.
Right.
Then he describes a time when villages and towns will spring up between the Atlantic and the Pacific, and that as they spring up between the Atlantic and the Pacific, that suddenly we would be attacked by a red cloud of hordes of forces united from Africa, Asia, and Europe, and that they would come by land, by air, and by sea, and we would be nigh well overcome into a smoldering ash heaps. Oh, that's scary, isn't it? And that out of it, praying bands of saints united would be greeted by legions of white heavenly hosts. Isn't that wonderful? And you think about this because when he said he saw it and when it was printed, that was before the invention of the first aviation aircraft, which wasn't invented until 48 years later after Washington had passed away. And I believe that was invented by Leonardo da Vinci in the 1800s. And then he had no idea of a League of Nations, a United Nations. We've never seen the Arab Nations League, you know, the Arab League of Nations. None of that. Or the EU. He could never have imagined such a thing. Also, he lived before the time of Lewis and Clark doing their expedition with President Jefferson, who hadn't been president yet. And nobody at that point really knew for sure that the Pacific coast existed. They'd heard rumors. The Indians had told them. But there was only a fort at the Cleveland, Ohio Valley. That was as far as they knew. That was the only city to the west that they knew about that far. So for him to say that the cities would spring up from the Atlantic to the Pacific was quite prophetic, wasn't it? And then for him to see such a thing as nations united together, coming by land, by air, and by sea. What would happen if that was to occur in our nation? We're so disunified right now. You attack an enemy who's disunified. We're so disunified right now. I don't think we would have the same opportunity to stand. And why would our children sign up to fight in a war? Because if they want to even change the national anthem, which is what was happening in 2014, we did go to the Senate and we put forth Resolution 550. And this resolution clarified that this national anthem, the Star Spangled Banner, will never be removed from us for the perpetuity of the nation. And also that the last verse, which had sort of dangled out there, it had never actually been rejected or accepted. It was the forgotten verse that says we're heaven's rescued land and God is our trust. And it also mentions our veterans. It says we're a blessed land. They never rejected it, but never accepted it either officially. So this resolution accomplished that. It's now officially accepted as part of our national anthem forever. And one of the reasons that we went into Congress and got the unanimous vote of the U.S. Senate to do this was because we realized that children needed an opportunity to have more education, more funding distributed to them, which will go back again to Congress and hope to see that happen. But we also promised the members of the Congress that voted unanimously on this, right and left, on the right wing and the left wing, the eagle soars. And right and left, unified, they all agreed. We need to teach the children, go out to the parks in the summertime, have special events. So we're not going to just tag it on to the end of Memorial Day or Flag Day or the end of the Independence Day on the 4th or wait till Labor Day. We're going to have a special celebration. So we draw lots of attention to the fact that this is our national anthem, that we need to be unified, that we care about our veterans, and we're going to celebrate the ordinary common people that make America strong and make it great. And we've got a contest that we're doing that's very special as well. We mentioned some of the contests earlier. I'm just going to amplify this one a bit. It's called the David B. Manuel Literary Award. And my husband was also a decorated veteran. He was an ensign, and he was a radar specialist on the Barrier Reef all the way back when the submarines were thought to be attacking us from Russia in the Cold War. And he loved his nation with all his heart, and he very much was proud of being a veteran. We would go to the military balls, and he would weep as they sang our national anthem. I will never forget watching him weep as we sang our national anthem. But he was also a Doubleday editor. He lived right here on Cape Cod and lived here for many years, had a studio in a lighthouse. And he wrote many books, and he wrote a famous book called The Light and the Glory. He and Peter Marshall penned that book. And many homeschoolers grew up on it, but many other citizens read it as well. And the last book that he ever wrote here on Cape Cod was called The Last Awakening. You need to read this one and find out what he had to say about bringing America back together again. So children can enter the contest by going to www.singitamerica.com, and right there will be tabs, and teachers can help them, public, private school, homeschoolers. Just write a 100 to 300 word essay, and the judges will judge it. Turn it in by June the 20th, and we'll judge that. Send us a PDF file online. We'll download it, and we'll let you know who wins. And first, second, and third place winners will have it published in newspapers. So that's going to be fun. Well, Pastor Lejeune, tell us why you came to America.
Yes, as you already know, I'm Pastor Lejeune from Haiti. I would like to just put that out there. There's two things in life you cannot just throw them away. It's your mother and your wife. I would say that I born in Haiti. I consider Haiti as my mother, and I'm living in America for 15 years. I consider it as my wife.
That's
So-
very nice.
Excellent.
So those two people in life, you cannot live without them.
That's
And then also I'm here on behalf of my son who's serving in the Air Force in Japan and for America.
He's serving in the Air Force.
Yes.
Wonderful. That's
wonderful.
great.
And I came to America because we're from Haiti. Haiti is part of the history of America. Many people might not know that Haiti is one of the countries who sent soldiers to America to help set this country free.
Wow.
If you
Thank
go to like Mississippi or Savannah, you see the big statue, and they're raised up to honor the Haitian soldiers who came to fight in America to help the freedom of America. So we consider America as our country.
Oh, how awesome.
That's wonderful. I did
And
not know.
Do all Haitians think that way, or just all of you that came here?
you know, I think so, yes, because
Really?
myself, I've been in
Isn't
this
that
TV
great?
for a while, been talking about how we get so close. We are close with America. We
That's
are
the
the
things
first
we don't know.
partnership we have. Yes, we do.
That's great.
And other thing make me choose to be in America. Since I was in Haiti, I used to look at the money of America. I see that it says, "In God we trust." In God we trust. And I believe America is the country of God.
Wow.
And when we're talking about unity, I think America is the great example. And we should keep that example. And our children should raise and educate it how to live together and to keep that unity going. And I think that unity will make America great and greater and greatest again. So that is one of the reasons I'm here, and I'm proud to be here.
That's good, and we're proud to have you, and we're proud to
wonderful.
have him as one of the chaplains involved in Sing It America. I was in Berlin when the Berlin Wall came down. A lady named Huntsy, who had wrote a book, The Girl That Loved the Swastika. Well, she didn't love it anymore after Hitler fell. And she had come to America through the work of the Red Cross and lived here all of her adult life. And she called me up one day and said, "The wall has fallen. I need you to come with your painting, and I need you to come with your voice, and I need you to come and celebrate with me. I'm going to do a TV special." So that's how I got over there. And while I was there, I was asked to repaint part of this mural on the Berlin Wall by one of the directors of a cable network in Berlin. I hadn't brought any paints with me. And suddenly I remembered my high school teacher, Mr. Biddle, telling me how to paint with egg tempera, but I had never done it myself. So he laughed at me later and said I used the wrong part of the egg. You're supposed to use the yellow, I used the clear. But it stayed because we got an ice storm that night, and it covered it like a sheet of glass. And it kept it all intact, and then we were able to spray it with some shellac, and later the piece was sold off when the Berlin Wall was all broken up.
awesome.
And some missionaries sent me the pictures of it being sold off. But while I was getting the paint, all I could get was watercolor, and they told me to go to a Woolworths store, nickel and dime store, Woolworths. They had one in Berlin. Can you believe that? And when I got there, I saw a sight that I will never forget as long as I live. Our children need to see such a thing, but we don't want them to experience it and be sad and full of sorrow. But as I went into the store, the military were there and the police taking control of the crowds that were lined up as far as the eye could see down the road trying to get into the store. And when they came into the store, they had no money to buy anything. They were just standing there gawking in shock and amazement, laughing, weeping, crying, dancing, to be in a store, a nickel and dime store, chock full of shelves stocked. Because they had made their journey through the Berlin Wall, having lived in a treacherous communist regime for over 20 years. And they had never seen a store with chock full shelves stocked. I stood there and I wept when I heard in my heart, you have no idea what freedom costs.
True.
I will never forget it as long as I live. What do you want to see? We have lots of people that have come to this nation who almost seem to love America more than we do. Many of them seem to be more patriotic than we are. I was down in Florida one time and saw people from Africa who had moved here that knew more about American history than the average person knows graduating from high school. Mm-hmm. They were all on fire about America. I went to an immigration swearing in of people becoming national citizens recently and a year ago. And when I went to that very special service, I was amazed at what was given out to their hands. The booklets that very succinctly told all the nuggets of the important points and foundation stones of American history. And they were thrilled reading it. I thought, these people leaving today from foreign countries that can barely speak English, that have raised their hand and been sworn in, will know more about American history and who we are and why we love our nation and why we should be strong and united than the average child will know when they go home tonight from school.
Yes, right.
What do you want to see? Why are you here? What do you want to see happen on Cape Cod?
I believe strongly in love, unity. And that is one thing I would love to see going in America. It's people from all over the place understand what love means. And when we come together, how strong we can be. And as we're strong, how America can be stronger. And I believe one way to work through that, people have to bound under the word of God. And as we believe in America, we believe in God. And I believe so that could be a good way to bring people together, love one another. And just like America is about love your neighbor.
Right.
And then the word of God says, love your neighbor.
Yes.
So that's why I'm here. I represent unity among you here. So I'm from Haiti, you from here, I'm here. I feel really comfortable. And I want everyone came from all over the place understand America is the land of love. It's the land of God. It's the land of prosperity. Especially, I call for the Haitian community to understand just like I understand that. America gives opportunity to all the nation, to everybody. So we need to understand that, and then we pray for everyone, for the military, the veteran, and for our children to educate in that love. Yes. And then that will be a great benefit for future nations coming to grow in America. And that is my goal. That is what I expected. Yes. And that we need today and for people to come together. And then many people on the street, it sounds like when I walk on the street, sometimes I see people, they feel like they're lost. Yes. They feel lost because sometimes they lose faith. You know, they lose faith. And then there's two reasons. It's because they don't understand what love is. Try to get together and then teach them and talk to them. Show them how we love one another. And then they will feel better, they will feel more comfortable. And I believe we start by praying for our government. And now for the government, understand that all power came from God. According to Romans chapter 13, it says all power came from God. If God established the power, the authority, that means all the authority established on love and unity. That is my purpose to see growing in America.
That's great. So we hope people of all genders, backgrounds, races that are here in the state of Massachusetts, New England, Cape Cod will come and join us at the Sing It America event in Hyannis on the Green, June 24th, from 1 o'clock to 5 o'clock. We're going to be very patriotic. We're going to have lots of fun with contests. We're going to have singing bands. We're going to have inspirational speakers. We're also going to have military veterans presentations and color guards. If the Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts want to join us and give a color guard, we will do that as well. And I'm thinking of something else as you are both sitting here, chaplains of Sing It America. People say in this nation that we have a problem that we can't solve, the homeless. But I have worked with people going out on those streets up in Boston, and they have told me that as they go out to benevolently reach out to these people, feed them every Saturday, that they find out there's some that are Harvard graduates. They were lawyers. They had law firms. Something went wrong, hit the bottle too hard, ended up as an alcoholic, went through a divorce, lost everything, suddenly hit the skids. Those aren't throwaways. Those are people that need to be rescued. And if we just cast them aside, they're the problem. Then they'll remain the problem because they need the love and the assistance to repair life. Yes. And it can be repaired. I also know people who were homeless that have now become productive, happy, prosperous citizens once again because somebody took the time to see them as more than a problem. And there are people in Hyannis that hang out in the park. I was thinking recently about a story I know firsthand. Charles Robertson was an advisor to the United Nations and to Taiwan. And he was a very well-respected man, and he was the CEO of a great amusement park in Eureka Springs, Arkansas for over 30 years called the Great Passion Play. And when he went to Eureka Springs, it was right on the heels of the Great Depression. There were over 600 people out of work, and many of them were homeless. And he put this drama together. It's an outdoor theater. And he went and rounded up all the homeless people, gave them a meal every night, put these biblical robes on them, and stuck them in the crowd. They didn't have to memorize lines. They didn't have to have acting skills. But they were thrilled because they suddenly realized they were making someone happy. People were clapping. They were giving joy to someone every single night, and they gave them a place to sleep. And then civic groups and churches from all over America adopted those people so that when the amusement park season ended, they had somewhere to go to keep right on going in rebuilding their life. It can be done. So the sheriff came to Charles Robertson about a year after they started this amusement park and the Great Passion Play down there. And he said, Charles, I've got a big problem. My men are out of work. And he said, why? He said, I'm laying them off. I don't need any more volunteer deputies. He said, how come? He said, every one of the homeless are in your play. There's no one left to deal with. There's no one left to arrest. Literally, that happened. 600 people that were out of work, out of jobs. It continuously became the miracle topic in the town, and it once and for all ended the problem of the homeless when civic groups and Christians loved these citizens who deserved to be a part of a strong America.
Deserved to love God, love your neighbor as yourself. And
America, the greatest power in the world, should stand on that word and to show the love for people. And if America embraced that message, and that will bring the world together. It's something people might think which is very hard because of the division, the war everywhere. But if we're thinking about the love of God, and that's all we need.
That's right.
You know, the love, it's starting from your heart. I love to see you. I do not want to see you suffer.
yes,
I don't want to see you living without the roof over your head. I can tell you that like a few years ago, I would say like 3 years ago, I was thinking about in my house, see, as we're living here, and then we're eating good. But I'm thinking about people in Haiti, and some of them do not have anything to eat. And I also see people living on the street too, they have no place to live.
Yeah.
I call people, I said, let we do something. We can do something. We're not only here to support people in Haiti. We need to help the country who help us also.
Yes.
Right.
You know, we can do something. So they said, what can we do? I said, okay, I'm going to start a program called One Family Feed All.
Wow, one family feed all.
And they said, what is that? How can we do that? I said, okay, let me tell you this. Let's say if you go to Stop and Shop, you buy 2 sacks of rice. You buy like 2 gallons of oil or 2 gallons of whatever you buy for your house. I want you guys bring one to me. If each one of you can bring me even a pound of rice, a pound of beans, a pound of flour, I can make a big box. And then we start doing that. Every first Sunday and third Sunday of the month, we feed like 4 families.
That's great.
That's awesome.
And then family, we didn't have anything to eat, not expecting anything. So they didn't even know. We just drove a car and then go to their door, knock on their door, and then we gave them a box of food.
Yeah. And you're not afraid of empowering someone to remain homeless or empowering someone to be, you know, constantly in that condition. When you just get beyond that and you do that out of love, it heals, it mends, it changes the life, it makes somebody strong. I recently became a widow, and I was very shocked at some of the things that I went through. I thank God for the people who were loving and kind, reached out. I also had a massive cancer battle that I went through for the last 4 years, and miraculously survived it through tremendous physicians and lots of great people that prayed and helped and wonderful caregivers. But during that, I have been so shocked at the way others around me would just let a widow go down. When my husband passed away, people came out and gawked in a very nice neighborhood down in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and watched the ambulance pull away. And they didn't know whether it was a body. He was actually fighting for his life at that time and died at the hospital. But I was so shocked that the next day, nobody showed up with a cup of soup. Nobody showed up with a sympathy card. Nobody showed up to say, are you okay? What can we do? And the reason this shocked me was because when I was a child and somebody died on our street, every neighbor was there. My daddy lost my mother about 3 weeks later, and to this very day, there are still people showing up 5 years later wishing to mow his lawn, making sure he has something to eat, that he's not lonely, that he's okay, that all his bills are paid. And I'm very grateful for the people that did step in when I felt that I was drowning and sinking. But what I'm saying is widows used to be a very important part of society, particularly even military widows, that we would make sure they didn't drown, didn't go down. So at some point, I'm going to do something called Widows Might and help a lot of widows. I'm already determined
very nice.
that. Help other widows somehow. But I know each person counts.
That's right.
Oh, yeah.
And without each person strong in all those different sectors of society, we're not a strong nation. So we need to love each other, celebrate each other, no matter what status of life you're in, no matter whether you're in high class, middle class, low class, street bum.
I believe
We need to honor and celebrate.
That's true. And last month, someone came to me and said, Lejean, you know, I have a big problem. I said, what's going on? He says that, you know, they're going to kick me out of my house, and I have no place to live. And I don't know what to do. And I turned around myself. I said, what can I do? And I said, well, I'm going to do something secretly. And today's the first day I was just talking about that. And I pulled the key chain. I took off the key of the church I'm worship. I said, you know, I give you that key. Do not tell nobody. And then I let him use in the church, my office, where there is a sofa bed. He slept there for a month. But every time, it came every 6 o'clock. Before I go to work, I make sure I get some food. My wife, my children not even know. And I go there, I set food right there for him. He slept in that church for a month. Nobody ever know. Until after a month, he find a place to live. And then that make me feel better.
Yes.
It make me more comfortable.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that is what God is looking at.
Yes.
And then God even says that, how can you say you love me if you do not love your brother?
Yeah.
Exactly.
As if I'm a
How can you
stranger.
say that you want to worship me if you're not helping your brother or sister?
Right.
That is what America is
Yes.
about.
Yeah.
And how can you say God bless America
And exactly, you know.
when you're not
you know,
willing to bless somebody
somebody
else?
else.
You sacrificed, you took the risk. It'll be a sacrifice for people to take off work, bring their children to this parade, bring them to this event. It'll be a sacrifice, but sacrifices bring
That's what
fruit.
it's all about. That's how this country was
Yeah.
put together.
Exactly.
That's why it
exactly
stands today.
Yeah.
I'm thinking as you're talking, how are widows treated? How is anybody treated? It's all part of our legacy, and the legacy can't die. It's not dead. It's there, and we need to just draw on it. So there's many things in this country that divide us, you know, the political, the personal, the religion, whatever. But one thing that we all are is American. Come and celebrate who you are, and we'll celebrate you.
And we'll
That's what
celebrate
it's
you.
about.
That's right.
That's what it's about.
That's exactly.
America, the roll is being called up yonder now for you. America, hear the bells, they're tolling for the red, white, and blue. Who among your people are still praying for you? This could be your final hour, rising from defeat to victory power. Oh, say, can you see? Oh, say, can you see?
Oh, say, can you see?
Come
We'll
see.
see you there. June 24th, Hyannis on the Green.
Sing it,
Come and
America.
celebrate America. Celebrate America Strong. Celebrate each other. And come patriotic and bring a picnic and stay all day. SingItAmerica.com will give you all the details. We'll see you there.
Hopefully, we'll see that as one family, one nation, we're all going to be together.
Amen.
Amen.